What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Happy Tuesday. Welcome into another NBA playoff live stream. Terrell Furman is here. Matt Perrault live on our Betting Pros YouTube channel with you guys who are curious about these games tonight and for tomorrow. Reminder, though, before we get to the games, guys, if you've not entered into the Betting Pros prop betting contest, it's up, it's live, and it's free. Every round, you guys can make picks and compete for prizes. The round one prize is on your screen. That is an autographed Shawn Kemp jersey from the defunct Seattle Supersonics for you kids. But we have an Allen Iverson AI jersey signed, Sixers jersey, I believe, for the grand prize winner. There will be prizes after every round, including the NBA Finals. So join now at bettingpros.com/playoffs. and enter our NBA playoff prop contest going on right now. All right, Terrell, we got a couple games tonight, couple games tomorrow, but up to this point, anything surprise you that we've seen in the NBA playoffs?
Surprising. I don't think anything has surprised me thus far. I think that the Timberwolves winning wasn't really surprising because the Lakers have LeBron's teams notoriously have dropped game one, regardless of favorite dog, whatever. They've notoriously dropped game one. I don't think that there's anything that's really been surprising. I think the only thing that I'll say may be surprising is the fact that Memphis didn't show up to the game at all after one quarter, maybe, or even that much. Like they were getting destroyed, they were getting trounced. So let's call that the surprise. I thought the Memphis Grizzlies would at least show up in OKC. We'll see if they do something tonight.
I'm actually surprised the Pistons aren't up 2-0. Given the way they played for 3 quarters in New York in game one, and then lost in the fourth quarter with a historic 21-0 run that the Knicks went and did, which was, in my opinion, a lot more on what Detroit was doing versus what New York was doing. The energy, the building, the turnovers, the missed shots, just a complete and utter sandcastle collapse of the Pistons, but it did not happen last night. So now we're tied up at 1 game apiece, and we head back to Detroit. I'm sitting on a ticket plus 2.5 games for Detroit, and I still think they're going to have a really good shot at winning that series. So I think the Knicks are in trouble. Well, that's not that big of a surprise. I was on the T-Wolves in game number 1. We'll get to the games coming up here tonight, obviously, with the Grizzlies and with the T-Wolves and the Lakers. But I would agree with you. The fact that Memphis got beat by 51 points in a playoff game, I've never seen plus 51.5 from a live number. That was the first time I'd ever seen a number in the postseason be that high in a playoff game. So let's get to that, because obviously there's a massive number on the board tonight in game 2. It's 14.5 for Oklahoma City tonight against Memphis. Forget the zigzag theory on a win.
Do we zigzag
on a cover? Can we zigzag on a cover tonight, Terrell?
Yeah, man. Oh, man. I mean, so here's the thing about OKC is like OKC can let you be in the game for as long as they want you to be in the game. But then there's going to be that run, that quarter where they just kind of dominate you. And everything you knew about the game is no longer true. And you find yourself down 15 to 20 points. That's the only concern that I have with the spread here. I think that this could be a third quarter, maybe even a fourth quarter, where OKC just kind of goes on this run. And I don't know what's the result of this run. Is the result of the run a 15-point win? Is it a 10-point win? Is it an 11-point win? I'm not necessarily certain. Where I like this game is give me Memphis actually in the first half. I think that is where Memphis comes out and says, guys, let's just not get embarrassed out here. Like, let's do that. They've actually played multiple games this season where Memphis was competitive with this team in the first half and then proceeded to get trounced in the second half and then lose by 13 plus points. So that's how I would take Memphis. Catch them in the first half. If you like OKC, there might be a live number out there better. If you could get OKC to 9.5 live, I think regardless of whatever Memphis has going on in the game, it only takes about 5 to 6, 7 minutes of basketball for OKC to cover 10 points. So I like Memphis early, and we'll see if we can find OKC live.
The scary part about that bet, and the scary part about OKC, is what happened in the first quarter. Because I bet this at plus 13.5 in game 1, expecting the exact same scenario you just laid out. Then Memphis was going to have a first quarter where I could get a number coming back 6, 7, somewhere in that range. Never saw the 20s. I mean, it went immediately to 21.5, and then it kept climbing and kept climbing and kept climbing and never came back. In fact, if you just kept on betting it, if you were watching the game, and I was like, I was on Sports Grid, and it was in my head of like, okay, I'm waiting for a number to try to take Memphis, but how much are they going to win by? 20, 30, 40? You laid every number that you laid with the Memphis Grizzlies, sorry, with the OKC Thunder, all the way up to 51.5. That was the only number that covered in the entire span of every number that was on the board at any point in time, pre-flop or during the game. The only number that did not cover was 51.5. So I'm petrified that the first quarter that OKC does the same thing because Memphis just turns the basketball over too much. It wasn't the offense that really stunned me. It was the fact that Memphis turned the ball over so often and were so sloppy and just looked like a team that did not know how to run any offense against what OKC was doing defensively. It was easy turnover to easy bucket. I'm with you that I think Memphis plays better tonight, but how surprised are you going to be if it's a 20-point deficit at halftime?
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's why I'm not playing it. Again, I only would look if you have to play Memphis, because some people out there are like, nah, I'm going Memphis. Everybody is talking about OKC. Play them in the first half. Don't even give them the second half to try to play around with your money. Play the first half. I think that's a close enough number, and they've been close enough in the first half all season with them that you can get a cover there. But how I am playing it is that regardless of what Memphis has going on, we could have took 20 points away from the Oklahoma City Thunder last game and gave it to the Memphis Grizzlies, and we'd still go under. So I'm going under here in game 2. I love game 2 unders, under 229 here. I don't expect the Memphis Grizzlies to come anywhere close to their team total here. Not even, I mean, 80 points in the last game was insane. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but they're not going to come close to their team total here. And now here's where I'm hoping OKC is just like, all right, we handle business in game 1. We don't have to give all the effort in game 2. Maybe this is a letdown. Maybe Memphis actually grows a pair and says, we are going to be an NBA playoff team and not let OKC score every single time they go down the court. Like, I think that we could see a little bit of a slower game, a little bit uglier of a game. I like the under here. I think this one goes under 229.
So what saved me, because I couldn't punt out of the taking of the 13.5 points for Memphis, I took OKC's team total in game 1 over 122.5. So that clearly came in. That came in with pretty much halfway the fourth quarter to go. So you think the under for OKC tonight, team total wise?
Yeah, I don't think the scoring is going to be there that like to where it was last game. And I just don't think Memphis is going to score regardless. Like, we could have another situation where Memphis is even struggling to get to 100 points in this situation, and OKC still has a dominant game and it still goes under the total. The last game flew under the total. So I still like the under here. Game 2, I like to see the adjustments and see the game slow down.
I don't hate that. 122.5 is the total again. Same as game 1. Easily covered in game number 1. Do we get a 120? Do we get a 123 or higher number out of OKC? I mean, the problem is this. The Thunder averaged 123 points per game at home this year. That's what they averaged. So I don't need an above average SGA game. I don't need Hartenstein to do something special. I don't need Dort to hit 8 threes to get to 123. I just need the Thunder to be the Thunder. So, like, that's my worry with that bet of going, my gosh, I don't know what Memphis defensively is going to have for the Thunder. So I would lean towards the over, but I won't touch it because I think the game going under is a better play because I don't think Memphis is going to score. Their team total is 107.5. I don't mind betting that under. That going under 107.5 is probably there.
Yeah. I mean, good luck to them getting over that. I think the team total under for Memphis is pretty good look as well. They had 80 points in 48 minutes of basketball last time.
36 points in the first half.
Yeah, like OKC's been stout defensively all year, and I'm hoping that their scoring comes down a little bit in this one. But overall, really good bet. I can see this being an ugly game, and Memphis just turned this into something completely different because Memphis has found a way over the second half of the season to put themselves in a couple of ugly games when they probably shouldn't have.
Game 2 in the Milwaukee, Indiana series. Pacers win game 1 thanks to Well, a brick house being built by the Bucks from behind the arc. They were horrible in game one, horrible on defense in game one. Dame is back. Now, some people thought that bringing him back in game two was a mistake because play him at home, play him in game three. But he was talking so much trash from the bench that he got teed up in the first game. So that kind of led a lot of us to go, okay, he's playing game two. Like he knew he was playing game two. He was sending a message to Halliburton and company. I'm on my way.
Yeah, literally, he knew.
Yeah,
he knew. They dropped the information. What did I drop earlier today?
Yeah.
Like he knew. And as you think about it, when you go back and replay the game, he definitely was like, yeah, they told me I got to give you a game. That's it. I would have played today, honestly. And that's probably what he was sitting there telling. Like, I would have been out there playing you today. But they said I got to give you a game. So here you go. And respect. I love when the talk comes back out on the court like that. And when you get teed up on the bench and you're not playing, that's how you know it's some passion going on. Yeah, I like the Bucks here, man. I like the Bucks. I like the Bucks early. The Pacers have been bad in the first half over the course of the entire season. You do get Dame back in this game, and that just Dame being on the court is going to be an energy boost. He doesn't even have to do anything. But the fact that now this Milwaukee team gets to play, finally, here we are in game two of the second series, 2 years in a row that they played, and they finally have Dame and Giannis on the court at the same time. That's going to be the energy boost in just itself, knowing that we got our guys back. I think Bobby Portis is going to have a great day coming off of the bench here. He normally torches the Pacers, and he didn't have a good game in that first one. Like, again, there was literally a lid over the rim it wasn't anything special that the Pacers were doing defensively. It was a lid over the rim for the Bucks. I'm all over the Bucks in this game. I like the Bucks to fade the Pacers in what they can never do, which is start games out quick. I like the Bucks early.
Give me a +4. Give me a money line. This is a zigzag theory play that I will subscribe to because exactly what you've talked about. I thought the 3-point shooting, there were so many wide open threes missed by the Bucks. Now it's a make or miss game, make or miss league. They missed. Do I think they make the majority? No, but they shot, I believe it was 39 threes and they shot 27%. I don't think they do that again here. I think Dame alone on the court will stretch the defense and give even more open looks to guys like Bobby Portis and company. AJ Green was 5 for 11 off the bench. He was the only shooter for the Bucks that did anything. Everyone else was awful from behind the arc. I don't think that happens. Giannis points, rebounds, and assists was 50 in game one. He got 49. It went under somehow. I think he has an even bigger game in game number two. Dame will let him. You saw the defense. It was basically, we're putting 3 guys in the paint and you're not getting to the rim, period. Having Dame out there and hitting shots when they need the defense to be extended, I think will be big for this team. On top of the fact that Dame just is going to be able to get to the rim and be able to really allow second chance rebounds for Giannis and company. So I like the Bucks here tonight to win. I like the +4. If you don't want to go money line at +160 or +150, you can get it at +4. What about the total? 228.5, 228 flat here. I would lean towards the over in this game. It was opened at 225.5. We've seen pretty steady money on the over.
I was going to stay away from this one. I don't want to see. I think it would go over. It sounds like it would go over. But again, game two can get really, really wonky with these teams. And teams that fly over in game two, sometimes, at least me, I've been betting for not as long, but a little while. And every time I come in that game two over, man, it really, really, really just punches me in the mouth. So, nope, it's all unders for me. Unders or no pass.
Yeah, I really have stopped betting totals. I stopped betting totals after the Sweet 16 round of the NCAA tournament, and I really haven't gone back, and I haven't felt bad about it either because, I talked to a professional gambler a couple of years ago, and his advice kind of rang into my head. Vegas Chris here in town, you guys may know him, but he said, I can handicap who I think is going to win. I can't always handicap the pace of play because I don't know how the referees are going to call the game.
Yeah,
and so I don't know how many foul shots these guys are going to get. I don't know who's going to want to push tempo and who's not going to want to push tempo. I don't know if an injury is going to happen or not. That's going to cause the point guard to go out and then they can't run their offense. So I can tell you who wins and sometimes tell you by how many points. I have a harder time telling you how the game is going to play out. And while I love betting totals in the NBA or in college basketball, I've been wise to stay away from some of these totals because they've been crazy. I mean, for instance, OKC and Memphis under game 1. Like, how the hell does that game
80
stay
points.
under? How in the
points,
hell
man.
does that stay under? Where you have one team that's up by 50 points and yet the game still stays under. So to me, that's where I am on that. All right, the nightcap. The Lakers are down 0-1. I took the Grizzlies in game 1, took their points, took them on the money line. If somebody had a gun to my head, I would do the exact same play. I would take the Grizzlies at +5.5 or +6.
Timberwolves.
Sorry, Timberwolves. Thank you, Timberwolves. But I
do
can't
that too.
But I can't do that tonight. I love that the NBA fined Ant for yelling and saying obscenities about his unit to other people. I love the fact that they're that comfortable, that they are not intimidated. They're not worried about the Lakers. They know that they've got the best player on the court, and I believe that Anthony Edwards is the best player on the court, and he can get to the rim when he wants. The rebounding is going to be a problem all series long for the Lakers. This is just an in-game play for me, Terrell. I can't pre-flop this. I got to watch and see how this game goes. But if we're talking about an 0-2 deficit for the Lakers going to Minnesota, I'm not going to be surprised at all. You betting this pregame?
No, I think I give JJ Redick a little bit more credit than that. He's found a way to turn around this Lakers defense in the second part of the season where I ripped them off and said that they were done. And, you trade one of the best defensive players in the league and you somehow subscribe yourself to a top 10 defense going back the rest of the way. Like, that's coaching. And I think that you got punched in the mouth. You realize that the size 100% is as much of an issue as you thought it was going to be. The Jackson Hayes experiment was a nice try. It didn't work. Now we're going to readjust. And we've seen we've seen undersized teams be able to go out and just play more physical. Look at what happened in that Warriors and Rockets game last time out. The Warriors just went and played more physical than a way oversized Rockets team, and they were able to give them the business. And I think that the Lakers could do something like that to this metric where, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to play just as physical, we're going to try to get you in foul trouble. I think they're going to get a lot better of a whistle than they did last game, especially if everybody subscribes to the fact that everybody is cheating to get the Lakers up to this one point. Well, then you probably should be on the Lakers at this point because they're definitely sending the kitchen sink to the game to make sure they don't go down 0-2 going on the road here. So if you're saying that they're cheating, well, let me get on the side that's cheating. I like the Lakers. I like the Lakers laying the points. I think they're going to be able to get it done.
It won't surprise me. I mean, 1-1 is the most logical because the T-Wolves going to LA, this was their whole point, take home court from the Lakers. They did that. So going back to game 3, up 0-2 would be an incredible luxury, but I think there's just so many matchup problems for the Lakers in this series. I mean, we talked about this in the wake of the Luka trade. We were like, okay, you have Anthony Davis and you have LeBron James. You have other guards to shoot when they get open shots, Austin Reeves and company. Well, the problem now is they don't have anybody. There's just no one there to stop the bigs for the T-Wolves. And when you come to second chance points, Randall could be the key to the entire series. He's just a matchup problem. There really isn't anybody to guard him as well as Ant, but there's no pressure on Randall. He's a Robin here. Batman can do what he needs to do. Randall's not being asked to carry the team. So it fits really well. There's not a lot of pressure on him to hit a bunch of shots either. I loved what I saw in game 1. It didn't surprise me at all. The handicap played out the exact same way I thought it was going to in game 1. Yes, zigzag theory. And I'm with you on the whistles. Like, the Lakers are going to get every call tonight. Like, if the T-Wolves think that they're getting calls tonight, good luck. Like, you're not getting calls tonight. So you better just hit open shots. And the Lakers are going to give them open shots because they don't have the size to keep the T-Wolves out of the lane. So they're going to give those open threes. It's a make or miss game. If the T-Wolves hit them like they did in game 1, it may very well might be an 0-2 deficit. But I'm waiting in.
And it's like that's a lot to replicate. McDaniels had 20. What is it? 25. Like, he missed 2 shots. I think. Like, it's a lot of success to replicate. I don't think they do. I think that this is a relatively competitive game for the most part. Maybe 2.5, 3 quarters. But I think there's going to come a point where the Timberwolves are like, no, we're good, man. Like, we're at this point, we're good. We came here and did exactly what we were supposed to do. We got a game. And here's the point where this Lakers team feels the desperation of everything they have. And hey, no, we got to have this one at home. We cannot go down 0-2 going on the road here. So I think this is a get up, everything kitchen sink game for the Lakers. And also talked about on Fast Break Bets. This Timberwolves team is not trustworthy. No matter how good things look at any point, they've never been trustworthy. And if you ever thought they were, remember that 24-point blow up game against the Bucks. Like I cannot trust the Timberwolves at all, ever.
It's the playoffs. Different story.
They're not trustworthy. They're not trustworthy.
Naz Reid might be the
not trustworthy.
Naz Reid might be the secret to the whole series.
I like that play. I like that play. I like that play too. You said that because I like that.
Randall.
That was very, that was calculated, Matt. You knew I like Naz Reid over 11.5 points, and you said that. That was
just saying, man.
Respect.
All I know is Luka better go over 30.5 points tonight. If Luka's under his point prop, good night. Good night. They're not winning this game. Luka needs to be the best player on the court for LA by a ways, and he was not. He was good in the first quarter, but after the first quarter, that was kind of it. It was the whole team just kind of was like,
everybody collapsed. No, after the first quarter, everybody collapsed. Like it wasn't even just him. Everybody collapsed. So I think this is a better output. I think it look a lot better defensively, and I'm very interested to see as well, because this is where JJ Redick is going to earn his money. You got to be able to make those adjustments from game 1 to game 2, especially if you're leading a LeBron James led team.
Yeah, in game, I want 9. You give me +9. I'm taking the T-Wolves here. We'll see what the start of the game looks like, but it's 5.5 or 6 at the moment. A quick start for the Lakers. You go up. If you like Lakers in the first quarter, like some people in the chat like Lakers in the first quarter, I don't hate that to jump in with that, but if that's going to be the case, I'm going to get a better number on Minnesota and give me the T-Wolves to get that game close late in the game, and I don't know if the Lakers are able to close. It could very well be 0-2 after tonight. To tomorrow, where Boston, Cleveland, and Golden State are all up 1-0. Home teams hold serve in game 1 over the weekend, but Boston will be without, most likely, Jason Tatum, who is currently doubtful with the wrist injury that he suffered in that game. Went down awkwardly on a drive. A flagrant 1 was called in that game against Orlando. But look, the number's down to 10.5. Terrell, if this thing goes to single digits before we tip off, I'm taking Boston. Like, do people forget who Boston has? Like, okay, JT sitting it's not a great deal, but Derek White scored 30 points in the first game. They're going to be fine, are they not?
We'll see. I think that's the thing that you got to hope, and you need everybody else to continue to play their role, because I mean, honestly, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown weren't the most effective players in game 1, and not by a long shot. So if they're out of this game and the Magic still go out here, I think they could go out here and play a good game. Maybe they keep it close. Maybe the Orlando Magic get a win. Maybe. But there's also a realm possibility where it's just like OKC, where they're in this game and they're competitive, and there's that one run. It only takes one run. And so that's what makes me slightly nervous. I haven't placed a bet on either side of this game yet, but we'll see. I do think the home factor does mean a lot, though. If this was on the road, I think that Orlando Magic at home with Jason Tatum out, maybe that would be something that I'd be interested in. But here in Boston, I don't know if I'm there yet.
2 players that I think will fly over their point props: Porzingis and Drew Holiday. This is going to be more Porzingis and more Drew Holiday coming up for the Celtics, who they haven't asked those guys to do very much because they haven't needed them to do very much. Al Horford, I think, has a big game as well. Being without, you never want to be without Tatum. Okay, your best player, you never want to be without him. But I would have sat down Brown in game 1. I will 100% sit down JT here in game number 2 and say, look, we'll see you in Orlando. And if not in game 3, we'll see you in game 4. Don't worry about it. Rest the wrist, whatever the problem is. All x-rays came back negative, but as someone who has had a wrist injury similar to that, it stinks. It's almost better to break your wrist sometimes because you stretch out all the tendons and you got all sorts of things. I was told by a doctor, you should have broken your wrist, because since you didn't, you're going to have problems the rest of your life. And I do have wrist problems even now. I'm 48 years old from an injury I suffered when I was 17. So it sucks to have that happen, but I think he's going to be fine. I think, Tatum will see in game 4 in Boston. This is a 5-game series. Maybe it's a 5-game series against Orlando. Most likely it's a 4-game sweep for Boston. I like Miami. I'm going to take the points here. 12 points with Miami on the road at Cleveland. I took it in game 1 for a hedge opportunity, and I ended up taking Cleveland at -9. But I actually do think that Miami's going to be in this game much more, and I expect Spoelstra to have a much better defensive game plan for guys like Spider getting to the rim that he did in game number 1. Where are you on Miami, Cleveland?
I haven't gotten to a single side here or there yet in this one. I think that we could see this either way, and I think this is really going to be the chess match of the series. Kenny Atkinson is, not as decorated as Eric Spoelstra when you talk about all the championships in Miami and the run he had in the heyday. But Kenny Atkinson's a really, really good head coach, and he's been around the block before, and he's won the championship before. And so I think that Kenny Atkinson actually can go in here and have a really good game plan and say, hey, we're not going to get comfortable here, guys. We're protecting home court, and we're going to make sure that we go out here and have a dominant game and not let this team in it, not let this team hang around. So I've been nervous because I think that he's going to take the home court very, very serious in this aspect, especially knowing how Eric Spoelstra can get down in the series and be able to extend series way longer than he wants. And that's the only reason that I'm concerned about the spread, is because they're thinking for the short term of, hey, let's get this team up. Let's play hard and get this team up out of here now so we don't have to extend game 5, game 6, whatever, because we know how this Heat team can be very, very pesky when you allow them to hang around in a series.
For full disclosure, Kenny Atkinson won a championship as an assistant coach, not a head coach. So
it's a championship. He won.
He was on the bench. He was on Steve Kerr's bench when he won a championship. He didn't win it himself. So let's see against Spoelstra. I like the coaching matchup for Miami a lot. I do think the Heat lose the game, but I'll take the points in game number 2 because I think you're going to see maximum effort out of Miami. I think they are going to push and have a chance to win game 2. I'll take Cleveland to win it, but 12 points, 12.5 points, I think is too many. And on the last game, I've already taken the 2.5 with the Rockets here. I will subscribe to the zigzag theory because there is no way the Rockets can go to Golden State down 0-2. Their season's over if that happens. This is for, they give you everything tomorrow night in Houston, and I'll lay the 2.5. It's up to 3 at certain books now, but where are you on Golden State Houston game 2?
Well, I mean, I would like to think that, but I think it might be 0-2. And I was of the mind of, I knew Golden State was winning this series.
Yep.
I thought I gave Ime Udoka a lot of credit with that last game of how they played Golden State in the regular season and getting that win, holding step 3 points. And I said, oh, Ime might actually make this competitive, but I still think Golden State is going to win the series. And then they came out in game 1 and they just rode the high of that last game and said, oh, dude, wait, it's hard to guard this guy 2 games in a row. Now you got to guard him for a whole series. Yeah. I mean, they can make this a really, really good game for 3 quarters, but then the bell's got to ring and the 4th quarter's got to start. And at the end of the day, again, my whole thought process was Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry are on one side, and the Rockets have no idea what they're doing in any 4th quarter at all. And so let alone a 4th quarter where you have Jalen Green, who's notorious not been good against the Warriors. You have Fred VanVleet, who's notoriously not been good against the Warriors. These are your guys that you look at in the 4th quarter. You have no idea what to do. I can't. It's in a close game, regardless of what they need. It just makes it hard for me to take the Rockets. So I'm on the Warriors. I think the Warriors are going to go up 2-0, and I think the Rockets probably will steal a game at some point. But it doesn't make me feel good to just sit here and say Rockets are going to get the win here because I have no idea how they're going to get this done in the 4th quarter.
Defensively is the only way, and I do think they had to learn that playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. I think they have to learn that the referee whistle is different in playoff basketball. I felt like they were really frustrated at times. They spent a lot of time crying, and Fred VanVleet was just, what was that? You can't go 1 for 10 shooting. That just can't happen again. So
he hasn't had a good game against the Warriors since the 2019 playoffs.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay tomorrow night. I expect him to bounce back. I expect him to hit at least 40% of those shots that he got last night.
He went the entirety of COVID without having a good game against the Warriors. Yeah. That's crazy.
He needs to have a good game tomorrow. If he doesn't, they're going to go home. So need Fred VanVleet. I do think the home crowd, I felt like the Rockets crowd was here we go again with the Warriors. They almost they don't really believe that they can beat the Warriors. And so that, I felt factored into game 1 when the start happened, and then Jimmy got cooking, and it was oh God, here we go with these guys. So I'm gonna take the Rockets playing for their lives, but I do think I'll be stunned if the Rockets win this series. It's gonna be the Warriors probably in 6. coming up, and maybe even in 5, depending on how. If it's 4, if the Rockets lose tomorrow, it could be in 4. It might be really quick, given they're going to Golden State, which is not going to be easy for the Rockets. All right, picks and plays. Where are you coming up here for your plays for these games today and tomorrow?
All right, we've got Oklahoma City and the Memphis Grizzlies under 229 points here. It's just too much. I don't think they're going to come close to 230 here. Bucks in the first half, get it done. Pacers notoriously really bad first half team. I think the Bucks are going to come out here angry after that last game. We're going to see a big boost with Dame Lillard and hopefully a bigger Bobby Portis and a lot of those role players stepping up here. And then Naz Reid over 11.5 points in the late game slate, because come on, man, Naz Reid is a dog. And I had an epiphany. That Naz Reid was going to be a guy this entire series. He did in game 1. He's going to do it again here. They don't have a matchup for him.
If he goes over that point total, Terrell, the Grizzlies might win the game. If Naz Reid's scoring 12, 13, 14 points, the T-Wolves might win that game. Like,
one player does not make a team.
Yeah, but he's the X factor in the whole series, though. Him and Randall. I hope you're right. I hope you hit it, but I also hope I get a better number and I can take the T-Wolves tonight at +8 or +9. I'm on the Bucks tonight +4. I think they win the game outright, but you can take the 4 points here. I think they even up their series with the Pacers at 1 game apiece. For tomorrow, I like the Heat at +12.5 to keep it close. I think they're going to push the Cavaliers tomorrow. I don't think they win the game, but I do think they're live to win the game and take the points. And then also I think the Rockets do win and cover. I don't want that over 3, by the way. If that gets over 3, I would not play that. I think it's a tight game. It's a 1-possession game between the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. I'll take Houston, though, at -2.5. The Heat and the Rocket play. Those will be on the Daily Juice coming up later on tonight for tomorrow. Speaking of which, Terrell, if the guys want to watch fast break bets, how can they do so, and what are they going to see?
Yeah, you can head over to the BettingPros YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, and you're going to hear a whole bunch of fun, a whole bunch of bets. Over here, the WNBA getting started, so we got a lot more hoops coming back. Yes, we're just rolling with the NBA here, but we'll add on. Basketball never ends around here.
And for myself, with the Daily Juice, if you guys want to watch it as well, it's 7 days a week. Reminder that it will pause starting on Sunday for a week because I'm headed out of the country. Terrell will fly solo next week, by the way, on this show, as I'll be off for a week. But you get the Bucks for tonight at +4. We got Hurricanes and Golden Knights, a parlay tonight from the Daily Juice today. And I'm going Rangers and A's under 10 against the world tonight. If you want something extra from the Daily Juice podcast, those are our plays here for today. But if you guys want to go and subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel, you should do so. You'll get both Terrell and I when we drop new podcasts 5 days a week or 7 days a week here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. He is Terrell Furman. I am Matt Perrault. Terrell next week by himself. Then 2 weeks, I'm back, and we're back to run you right all the way through the NBA playoffs every single Tuesday night right here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. NBA playoff talk every single Tuesday. We'll talk to you next week.